What's up, guys? How's it going? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I'm going to tidy up a few things here quick. See if we can get things moving in the right direction. HSP, how's it going? Hope you're doing well on this Saturday. Weather's not too bad. Just freezing over here. It's freaking cold in Iowa. I am freezing my butt off, so I figured it'd be a great day to stay inside. As you can see, I've got brooms and mops laying out from trying to help the wife clean up the house a little bit. Had some lunch, take a little break, and we're going to do a little maintenance of the fish tanks. So obviously the big guy there, the 125, needs a little work. See if we can tidy that up a little bit. And this is a 40 breeder downstairs with some Chilatrian Alani Wapog. Excuse me. And you can see some fry swimming around in there. Spawning mop off to the right. A couple ATI sponge filters in there. And some messy sand, but sand nevertheless on the bottom. And we'll take a better look at those tanks a little bit later when we go downstairs. Right now, we are just getting going. Fair to stop, see who is hanging out. For anybody that's interested in talking, you're more than welcome to come up on the stream itself. I did post the link there. You let me know if you want to stop by. Feel free to join. I'll kind of be in and out away from one computer to the next. I've got a laptop set up in the basement on top of a ladder so that you guys can see that rainbow fish tank. My phone is set up so you guys can take a look at the 125 that we're going to start a water change on here in a minute. And then I'm sitting at the desktop over here where it's a little bit easier for me to keep track of everything. It's a little bit easier for me to see everything. Obviously, please don't mind the mess. My wife would probably murder me if she knew that I was streaming with the house in the order that it is. But she's at work, so she doesn't know about it just yet. Perhaps she jumped on the stream. I haven't seen her in here yet. That doesn't mean she's not here. She could be lurking. We'll see. HSP, the Fresh Prince, what's up? Glad to have you here. I don't, excuse me, don't recognize your name. So I'm glad you're here though. So we're gonna work on some fish tanks, talk about fish tank stuff. We'll probably talk about some other stuff too, I'm sure. That's how it happens. You may hear some hollers and screams coming out of the back. That's my kid. Yeah, I told him to entertain himself for a little while. So I think he's gonna play Fortnite. I'm not big on Fortnite, never played it. More of a Call of Duty guy myself when I do mess around. So you might hear him hollering, and I'll try to keep it down. Eventually, we'll end up downstairs in the basement working on those tanks, like that rainbow tank right there. And yeah, we're gonna get some things done. Fresh Prince asked, "How do you treat algae?" That is a good question. It's a loaded question, I say, because it does depend on the type of algae. But here in a minute, we're going to take a look at some blackbeard algae. This actually, let me zoom in here. If you look at, so if you're looking at the camera right now, the tank's in the other room, but I'll show you when we get over there. The green plant that kind of resembles a sword in front of the rockwork, that is a Homalomena secadal species. It kind of roughly resembles a sword. It's not one that you see super often in aquariums, but it can be kept in aquariums just fine. As you can see, it's more like an Anubias than a sword, despite it kind of looking like a sword a little bit. So we're gonna spot treat that a little bit with some hydrogen peroxide, kind of show you guys how to attack that. But like IHSP said, scrub it off. Manual removal is definitely a great way to get on top of any algae problem. Whether you're using a razor blade to scrape it off the glass, a toothbrush to scrub it off some of your plant surfaces or your hardscape, or peroxides to kill it before you remove it. Get on top of it. As you can see, there goes the offspring. Sorry about that. I think he's going to wander over to his friend's house for a little while, but that's okay. But no, when we're talking about algae, so obviously manually remove as much as possible. Water changes are a great way that removes a lot of things from the water that can trigger algae. So if you have a problem where your plants potentially like there's a little bit of detritus that hasn't been cleaned up, or you have some decaying leaves, what happens is all those organics that are breaking down and falling apart are releasing a bunch of things into the water, various enzymes, proteins, carbohydrates, so basically sugars, kind of. It releases that into the water column, and those often trigger algae growth. So water change helps remove those. Stay on top of that. I know. Sure, you can have a fairly clean looking tank without regular water changes, but I don't know. You guys know me. I don't recommend. I'm very set on a frequent, regular water change type schedule. Okay, so water changes will help a ton. Feed less. So like IHSB said, feed less. That goes along with the decaying organics line of thought, where if you're feeding a ton and it's not getting eaten, it's just breaking down in your tank, resulting in high phosphates, high sulfates, nitrates, of course. And that's all just, if it's not getting utilized by the plants, it's getting consumed by the algae and just continuing to feed that problem. And then lower the light. Lower the light can work in a few different ways, and we can get into that in a little bit further detail here. Looks like the Zen Ginger is here. Mandy, we're happy to have you. Hope you're doing well. I know there's a lot of streams going on right now, so I appreciate you guys taking the time to stop by. And even if you just have a minute to say hi, that's awesome. Whether we have 10 people in here or 100 people, we're going to stream anyway, because if I'm doing something productive that somebody might be able to learn from, even if there's just one person watching, maybe that one person will learn something. So I'm not going to just shut down the stream because, oh, well, I don't have 50 or 60 or 70 people here. So that's my kind of train of thought. So for the 9-10 of you that are here, hope you're enjoying it. If you have any questions, like Zen here, don't be afraid to ask. If you have any comments, if you just want to see what's up, please participate as much as possible, or as much as you see fit in the chat. It helps things move on a little bit easier, and it creates a little more interesting conversation. I really enjoy the two-way dynamic of live streams. Otherwise, I might as well just be creating a video where I'm just spewing words at you nonstop. So I do release a fair amount of edited content. I'm not the video a day guy or 2 videos a week guy, but I release a video whenever I have time. As far as edited content goes, the most recent one happens to be a review of the. You can't see it right now. Off to the left of this tank, there is a little Odyssey surface skimmer. So several months ago, I purchased that skimmer and reviewed that. And there is a video that I just released a few days ago on that one. If you are interested, I can drop the link, or you can just check out my channel. I'll do this, I'll do this. And then all up. Looks like Zen Ginger's already on it. Thanks, Zen. Appreciate it. So Zen did ask, how helpful are water changes for diatom algae in a new tank, say a new 40 breeder CO2 tank? So for anybody that's not aware, the Zen Ginger recently acquired a CO2 setup. Congratulations. It's exciting. You opened up, whether intentionally or not, you opened up so many new possibilities and opportunities for yourself. It really is super exciting. So I actually just got CO2 back on to 125 over there because it was empty for a little while. Jenna, what's up? We're hanging out. Zen's asking questions, and I'm going to do my best to answer them for at least pointer in the right direction. So anyway, we're talking about Zen's new tank, 40 breeder. I think she's using some variant of aqua soil. For the most part, they're all fairly similar. and she's using a 32-inch Nylock G prism, which is more than enough light for that little 40 breeder. And she is setting up CO2 now. This is her first CO2 setup, and she asked the question, how helpful are water changes for diatom algae in new tanks? Diatom algae is kind of, if you watched Mitch and Tanner, so Scruffy City Aquatics, they did a stream the other day on algae, and Mitch kind of referred to it as new tank algae. That kind of makes sense. It depends on the setup itself, but generally you see like a diatom algae, which is a thin brown film, kind of looks dusty on your tanks, and then over time it'll usually go away. So how helpful water changes? Water changes, generally speaking, are always pretty beneficial. I think they're underutilized as a way to, not only keep tanks on track, but get tanks back on track. So I would definitely, if you have diatom algae, or if you're just trying to avoid diatom algae, I don't know. I would honestly say weekly water changes would be just fine. I know you have a new tank. You're using biostratum and contra soil. So, initially, I'm not super familiar with those specific substrates, but you can usually expect to see more frequent water changes with those brand new fresh substrates, and then eventually things will slow down into a little more routine type, 50% once a week, 50% every couple of weeks. So what is the water changing into? What would you like the water change into? We can change water into wine, maybe, or water into booze. I'm actually cooking up. My little brother got me one of the I got the homebrew kit, so I've got some beer cooking downstairs, and give it a few weeks, see how it turns out, and we'll have some beverages. But as far as water changes, and the whole point of this stream is to do some water changes and chat with you guys while I work on this. I'm gonna head over to 125. I'm gonna unplug some filters and some power heads, and we're gonna start draining some water out. So I will check on the chat best I can here, and in the meantime, I'm gonna walk over there. If you guys are interested in chatting on the panel, all 4 of you, I'll take what I can get. We will take a look and see how things are going. Geek Boy just finished water change in the 10-gallon. That was probably quick. Even like a full scrub and cleaning filters in a 10-gallon probably takes you, what, 15, 20 minutes? Whew. I'm trying to open up the Discord quick. I should have had it open just in case. Discord's open. Bada boom, bada boom. We'll go down here. We'll see what Geek Boy's talking about. Hey, there it is. Looking good there, Geek Boy. Some of those plants might look familiar. They do. And it looks like you're putting them to good use. Hopefully the Zen Ginger does the same, because she got a couple that look fairly similar as well. And I can do this. Whoops, do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. Boom. Oops. Let's see, can I zoom in on this a little bit? Nope. Maybe not. Anyway, so if you look right under the ring there in the middle, that is any kind of Carno, so that maroon looking plant, and it'll show a little more red coloration with higher light. Slightly to the left, this looks like an, let me see if I can, I think he posted another picture. This way, there it is. All right, this is that Echinodurus Carno, and that should do well in that tank. This is an Echinodurus Goncalo, which will stay more of the deep green color. Some Marsilia, I believe this is Hirsuta, and then some Elocarius Parvula. And then, of course, he has all kinds of other things in the tank. Looks like he's got a valve of some sort, some Swassertang, and tank's looking good, looking clean. Good job, Mike. Looks like you are on the right track. What up, Beaches? What up, Steven? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for the stream the other night. I caught bits and pieces here of what the fish. I think I jumped in and answered maybe one of the what the fish questions. Can't remember which one it was, but the theme was interesting, and I do appreciate the entertainment. Usually Wednesday nights I'm busy. The kids got hockey practice, so that keeps me fairly busy. But later in the evening, once you guys start streaming, I'm able to jump in there. So if you guys are looking for some entertainment on a Wednesday night, a good time, and a chance to win some free stuff, head on over to Stephen P2003 does What the Fish on Wednesdays. Good old time. A great group of people over there, both on the stream itself and in the chat. So definitely worth taking a look. If somebody's got his channel handy, drop that in there. You're more than welcome to. 10 to 15 minutes on 10 gallon. There you go. Not too bad at all. The more tanks you have, the faster you get at doing water changes. Dwarf sag and cryptoparva. Cryptoparva is an awesome crypt. More people should be keeping it. It's super easy. Does it grow slow? Yes. Is it extremely manageable and extremely easy to grow because it doesn't require much light or CO2 or anything? Also, yes. So excellent little foreground plant. I had a foreground of mostly cryptoparva in my 75 many moons ago. Then, oh man, come on, why you gotta be like that? Why you gotta be like that? There you go, Steven. Appreciate it, man. Zen said she thinks her Sukarno is a little bit smaller. Could be. I don't know. They both grow fairly easy and pretty quick. I was copying links. Yeah, Steven smashed him first. This. I don't know. Ah. Appreciate it. Much appreciated. Anyway, I'm going to go start moving some water. I'll actually probably open the chat up out in the living room so that I can keep an eye on the chat. Enjoy, Stephen. It's got to be a big deal. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, who wouldn't want to go visit it? So enjoy your time there. Maybe, maybe not. Probably don't let Jen see. I don't know. Depends on what you're into. I won't judge you. Anyway, I got to get going on this 125. The girls 18 is just such a distraction. It's keeping me from being productive. So give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna wander around. I'll pick you guys up on. Boom. You'll see me over there shortly. Okay. So the 125 is upstairs, as is my desktop, but everything fish related, for the most part, is downstairs. So when I do a water change, I get to wander up and down a few times. Not the end of the world, but grab the handy dandy python. Everything else I need should be upstairs, and we'll start getting some water moving or changing. And what is the water changing into? Well, we haven't decided quite yet. We'll find something interesting for it to change into. Shoot. See, that wasn't too bad. Didn't take too long. Got a little siphon action going on here. Little sucky $5. There you go. Boom. And then we'll do about I don't know, 50% of this thing, whatever that turns into. 125. It's got a bunch of stuff in there. So I don't know, 60 gallons ish, 55 gallons ish. Come on. See what we can do. YouTube. Do this. We'll do this. Start killing some equipment because the sound of cavitating pumps is enough to drive me crazy. Shut the CO2 off. Shut the surface heater off. Things cook for a minute. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna do this. And almost got you guys back up. Over here, mute the television. And we're back. Uh-oh. How do I do that? Oh boy, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh man. Help! Yes. I'm trying. Let's see, how can I get this to work the way I want it to work? I'll do this. Now I can do this. All right, so put up there. Oh wait. Oh no, no, not that crap. Anyway. Jenna's still here. And we're glad you're here, Jenna. We appreciate it. I hope your plants that are kind of Steven's plants that got labeled you are doing well. They should do fine. They're pretty easy growers. I'm trying to figure out how to get the chat to pop up on. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Here we go. Oh, we're getting dangerous now. I don't know. I might give up. Water's moving. That's exciting though. I have to do, can I do this on this? I'm gonna go boom, like this. It's this big. Sorry, still not salty, but if my prism is about a foot off the surface of the tank, you think 30 to 40% is probably plenty of light. I would say that's definitely plenty of light there, Zen. So I'll show you guys. So this is the 125, which is 21 inches tall. And that's, I don't know, 6 inches off the surface. And as you can see, I've got it, I don't know, about 40%. 40% there. So I would start it at, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 and move from there, Zen. I think that would be a good starting point. Kill these other pumps real quick. I love my 125. I put some decent work into it to try to make it look good, but I friggin' hate canister filters. I wish it was drilled, but it's not. So I deal with canister filters for right now, which is indeed a headache, but that's okay. I mentioned earlier that we were going to talk a little bit about spot and treating some algae. Just going to see how well you guys can see it. So if you look right in here, there's a little bit of blackbeard algae on this from Alamina. So we're going to do what we can to get rid of it. And manual removal. So I was able to clean up the leaves. There's still a little bit down here at the bases. And then if you look over here, kind of in that Bucephalandra, and let's see. I wish I could make this look better. But look down here, see a little tuft of blackbeard algae there, some there. So we're going to nuke this with my favorite, hydrogen peroxide. Now, I'm going to use a fair amount of hydrogen peroxide, but in 125 gallons of water, a couple hundred milliliters of hydrogen peroxide is nothing. So I do have the pumps off in the tank, so I don't have any filters running. I don't have power heads running, no air stones, nothing. So there's minimal flow in this tank right now. And then I'm just going to use a handy dandy syringe, fill it up with hydrogen peroxide, and then just give it a squirt wherever there's some blackbeard algae. And no flow, give a little more exposure time, and there will be sufficient concentration that we should be able to knock that algae back. No problem. And then the longer the peroxide sits in the aquarium, it'll just break down into water and air. It's one of the benefits of peroxide. It's hard to overdose it. It can be, you know, not the best if you're like directly exposed to it, but since it's in the water, it's pretty hard to cause any damage to yourself, your plants, your fish. So you got a little bit of peroxide going down into here in this Bucephalandra. Like I said, there's some blackbeard algae in there. Over on this melamina. And then you will see on the algae particularly, it'll start to bubble. You can kind of see some bubbles releasing. And that's because hydrogen peroxide is an oxidizer. So you'll see those bubbles. And then we're just going to poke around the rest of the tank, see if we can find any spots. Looks like maybe down here, there might be a little bit that we didn't hit yet. Give that a little splash. And so this isn't going to, prevent the growth, but it'll kill it off. And then eventually blackbeard algae, once you hit it with peroxide, as it dies off, it'll turn kind of a red-pink color. And it'll eventually just kind of fall off or get eaten by snails if you have snails or SAEs. Steven said, all the plants are doing great except one tank where I overdosed iron and I'm still seeing the effects. Brown filamentous algae. That sounds like headache. And while I feel bad for you, son, I'm glad it's in your tank and not mine. Let me get another little splash of peroxide. I'm going to slide over. Now the left side of the tank, believe it or not, where I'm running Highlight, is actually quite fine. There is a little bit less water flow over there though. So it's kind of more on the right side of the tank. I've got an AC 110 set up that I was seeding some media with. And I've got that power head set up over there to just increase some flow from the right side of the tank, left side. So on the right side and kind of towards the center, getting a little more blackbeard algae. The left side is a little bit lower flow, not so much algae. And on this is a Laganandra silver powder in front of me. It's kind of hard to see. Apologize. There is some blackbeard algae on that. So we're going to give it a splash and get on top of that. And then the video, I actually made a video using hydrogen peroxide to treat the entire tank. So I was gone for a couple months for work, came back and had pretty bad algae issue. So I just hit the whole tank with peroxide. And if somebody's bored, they can link the video to that. Otherwise, it's on my channel. You guys can find it. I can't remember what it's titled. Something about treating a whole tank with peroxide safely. As you can see, I didn't lose any fish. I didn't lose any plants. And, if you saw before and afters, it looks much better. Now see if we can get a look at it. See, beautiful leaves. There's little tufts of blackbeard algae on that. So just going to hit that with some peroxide, see if we knock that down and get it moving in the right direction. Overdose sounds like a challenge. I have absolutely blasted tanks before with hydrogen peroxide. I mean, if you soak, if you just soak a plant in the peroxide, then you can overdose and definitely damage the plant. But if you're just doing like a spot treatment or a whole tank type treatment in the tank, you won't likely see any super bad problems. Then asked to follow up to the peroxide. If I separate and move a piece of Anubias from my Goldie tank to CO2 tank, but it has at least BBA, if not also green spot, how do I treat it before moving? So what you can do then is there's a few different ways to go about that. What I would recommend is you can just remove the anubias from the old tank, and before you put it in the new tank, you can create a peroxide solution, or you can just spritz it, or basically spray it down with a syringe in a bowl, and then rinse it off, and then put it in the new tank, and that should get you going the right direction. And then the tank is getting back on track, but unfortunately, it's not quite there yet. So we have this anubias up here, and as you can see, we've got some damaged leaves. So we're going to take these leaves and just give them a snip, because they're obviously not doing the plant any good, and all they're doing is creating an opportunity for algae to grow and releasing crap in the water that we don't need to be in the water. So if there's any really bad plants, as far as damage goes, or that have a lot of algae on them, sometimes it's easier to just trim the plants and do a little manual removal. It's like this leaf here. This leaf's not doing anything good. It's just rotting in the tank. So we'll remove that guy. Boom, just with a quick snip. And you'll see, maybe not very well, this little guy here, maybe, is a spathe from that anubias. It's a little flower, sending it up to the surface. Boom. And there are fish in this tank, believe it or not. Actually, right now, you can see, I said that the peroxide was an oxidizing agent. You can see all these bubbles moving up. All those bubbles. That's not necessarily, that's a sign that the peroxide is still good. Peroxide does go bad if you leave it exposed to the air too long, because it literally just breaks down into oxygen and water. So you do want to make sure that you don't open a thing of oxygen and open a thing of hydrogen peroxide and let it sit there forever, because it will go bad and no longer be effective. That's also why, if you look at hydrogen peroxide, it comes in a brown bottle, because that prevents light from actually breaking it down into oxygen and water. If you ever wondered why hydrogen peroxide comes in a brown bottle, boom, there you have it. You'll notice that I'm not really doing a gravel vac or cleaning the substrate too much. I hit this tank pretty heavy with a gravel vac the other day, so there's not really a whole lot of like mulm or debris or detritus sitting down in the bottom of the tank. So I do recommend, usually, if the tank, if you're doing a water change, stir up what you can a little bit and get things moving, just to get some of that debris and plant matter and leftover food and fish crap, get it out of the tank as best you can. It's only going to help you in the long run. So right now I'm digging in the back of the tank behind this big sword, and this big sword in the middle is an Echinodurus melling pink. It's not super common in the hobby, definitely easy to grow. That's what you can see here in the middle, sorry. So this big sword here is an Echinodurus melling pink. And it is too big for this tank now, at least for my liking. So it's going to disappear soon. Zen Ginger wants me to repeat the sound of the bubbles. Yeah, how about maybe you remind me of the next stream, and we'll see. So since this sword is so big, and honestly like too big, it's not only shading other plants out of the tank, but it's shading itself out and robbing its, well, more or less robbing itself of nutrients, unless I put an absolute ton of localized nutrients in the substrate, this sword and the daughter plants underneath it, it would be tough to get it, all these leaves to actually be healthy, particularly since the lower leaves are not getting much, if any, light. It's like basically these big leaves up here, they have awesome color, they look great, but if you dig down in the bottom, some of these leaves don't look super hot. Well, partially because they're not getting any light. So we want to go down and remove some of those older leaves so that they're not just sitting in the tank and rotting. Like, but Mike, I thought you took good care of your tanks. Well, when you have so much plant mass in there, it can be hard to see these problems that kind of sneak up on you. So if your plants grow big enough, they'll start to almost be harmful to themselves and definitely be detrimental to the growth of plants around them. And I will say, don't confuse that with the concept of allelopathy in Diana's book. It's just simply, this is larger plants, even the same type of plant, outcompeting itself, shading itself out, shading out those plants around it. So if you see, I have this big Echinoderus, and then below it, since I figured, I was like, this is a pretty big sword. It's going to throw a lot of shade. Throwing shade. So I put some crypts and some Lagonandras below it. You can see, so like these crypts, and this is a Lagonandra Meoboldi, Bleeding Heart. Sketty Nona, greetings. Thanks for stopping by. We're just dinking around to the 125 right now, doing a little water change. I'm going to pull some water out, and then I'll start filling her up. And since I have a relatively small pump, it takes a little while to fill up from the basement. I do need to get a bigger pump to make that happen a little bit faster. But that's a money thing. And the fish budget has been distracted a little bit lately. But we'll get there. One of these days I'll get a new pump. Gotta sell some guppies and stuff from the basement. Come up with a little extra free cash. Free up a little cash flow. Get some things moving. I am. So Steven and Geek Boy and Zen, my organisms. So the Eliocaris, I sent you guys some Parvula and some Acicularis. This is what I have left of that. So I'm actually, I've got a couple locals coming to pick up some of that. And then I've got a handful of the Alternanthera Renickii, pain in the butt. That's going to disappear, and that's going to free up a lot of space in this tank. And I mean space itself, as well as nutrients and light, because it won't be shading stuff out. This here, I showed you the flower from the Nubias, or the spathe. This is going to be some little plantlets. You can even see right there from this Echinoderus smelling pink. Right there, so they kind of send out a little spike, and then daughter plants will grow off it like that. As you can see over here, the Socarno, which is what we talked about in Geek Boy's picture earlier, sent out a spike up around, and we got some dotted plants here. So this is, excuse me, as I mentioned, Echinoderus Socarno. This is a fairly easy sword to keep, not super demanding, but this is pretty accurate rendition of what it looks like under moderate light. You said earlier, this is under the prisms at 40–45%-ish in my 125. So definitely getting good growth, good nutrients, allowing this thing to reproduce. We'll propagate these, let these grow on the stem a little bit longer, and before we trim those and send them off to new homes. Brookley got half the hair grass. If Brookley wants more, you let me know, because we need to get rid of all this. I've saved and killed plants with hydrogen peroxide. I've learned less is more. Patience wins out. Dose low and wait to retreat. That's a lot of it. It's just being patient, and being able to hit things with a stronger treatment, I guess, kind of comes with experience and willingness to, lose the plant. As you said, you can kill a plant with hydrogen peroxide. It's definitely possible. If you hit it with too much at one time, especially if you take it out of the water. Like in this tank, I'm not worried about overdosing peroxide and killing a plant, because there's so much water there that I could literally, so this is a quart of peroxide. I can dump this whole quart of peroxide in that tank. I mean, if the tank's full, even if the tank is half full, and honestly be totally fine. Now, don't go dump a quart of hydrogen peroxide in your tank, and if things die, be like, well, Mike said I could. No, Mike said he could do it in his tank because I'm not saying I'm better or worse than anybody, but I'm willing to maybe take more risks, and that just kind of comes a little bit with experience. And if things went south, I'd be able to pick up on it a little bit, I hope, and start taking corrective actions. So if you accidentally dump like too much peroxide in your tank, things that you can do, increase surface agitation. That'll help the hydrogen peroxide actually break down quicker. And then another thing that you could do is just start a water change. Get some of that peroxide out of there. And, you know, most of the time it'd be safe. But my favorite tools for fighting algae are, one, hydrogen peroxide, like I talked about. And I just use, you can get a quart, I think, for 88 cents at Hy-Vee, Walmart, wherever. And a toothbrush. Manual removal goes a long way. Stay on top of it. And a lot of people kind of fight back and forth. They're like, how do I fix this algae? Well, one of the, I don't know, and Tom Barr says this a lot, healthy plants will outcompete algae 99% of the time. So focus on growing your plants as opposed to fighting the algae, and slowly the algae will probably go away. Sketty Nona said she treated her plants outside the tank. And that's kind of what happens when you can run into problems. Like right now, these leaves are out of the water, or like the hardscape. I'd have no problem treating the hardscape right now. Because obviously you're not going to kill the rock, and by the time the peroxide runs down into the remainder of the tank water, it's not going to be, you know, of any concern. But when you take it out of the tank, it is a lot easier to hammer that plant a little too hard with peroxide. Maybe you put it in to soak it, and you forget about it. So you have to take careful of that. I bought a 24 pallet of peroxide 3 years ago. Peroxide is so cheap. Like people are like, oh, well, why don't you use Excel? Well, Excel doesn't break down into water and oxygen like peroxide does. And I can get a quart of peroxide for less than $1. A bottle of Excel, even like a small one, is like $10. And Excel is just nasty crap. You don't want to mess with it. Huawei, what's up? Best peroxide to get the algae and calcium buildup off my kids when it's time to clean them up. Get those kids cleaned up. 12-pack, you only have 2 bottles left. I also have children who fall on scooters and scrape knees. See, another reason to keep peroxide in the house. Peroxide you can use for all kinds of different things. Excel is good at just being Excel, which is, I don't know. You guys know how I feel about Excel. I'm not going to rant about it too much, unless you guys really want to listen to me ramble. But it's just not good. It's misunderstood. It's mismarketed. Just kind of need. I'm not saying Excel has no uses, but if Excel disappeared from the hobby, I don't think anybody would be hurt by it. Except TChem, because I bet they make a ton of money off it. We'll wander downstairs. I got to hook up the Python to the pump down in the totes in the basement that hold my RO water. And I actually checked my RO water the other day, and TDS is creeping up. So I do need to head over to BRS, and I'll pick up some new carbon blocks and media for my RO canisters so that I can get that back down, because that's not such a huge deal with my planted tank. But in a minute, we're going to be setting up that biocube of saltwater, which I've been talking about for a while. Finally got it more or less out of its corner where it was hiding for storage. And it's time to get down to business for that thing. So, you know, 30, 40 TDS, quote unquote, RO water just isn't going to cut it anymore. We're going to have to clean it up. And in order to do that, we'll replace our RODI media, and we'll be back on the right track. Now, if you have really crappy tap water, like I do, you're going to burn through your media a little bit faster. Shannon was in here the other day. We were talking about RO stuff. So hopefully she got her RO situation figured out. As you can see, slowly, this thing is going to fill up. Ever so slowly. Which the water downstairs in the basement is quite a bit cooler than the water upstairs. Sure, I could put a heater in it, but I think I'm just fine. And then if I forgot the heater on, it would just turn into a pain. So I just let it be cooler, and then boom, 125 gets a little bit cooler water change. Oh, catch up on chat quick. unless you do have to clean algae off your kids. You might, I don't know. Wasn't hypo. Steven said the funny thing. Oh my gosh. He said, if I could make one product disappear from the aquarium trade, it'd probably be Excel. BVA, Bunny, Viper, Aquatics. What's shaking? Hope you're having a good one. Sketty asked, do water treatment plants use copper treatments? Having never been to or worked in a large-scale industrial type water treatment facility, I'll say facility for the sake of clarity. Do they use copper treatments? I have no idea. I wouldn't think so, but there's a chance. So you can check should be able to go online and check your water municipality should provide a water report and tell you exactly what they're treating with and exactly what's in your water. Sometimes it's really, really bad. You're like, it was better to just not know. Zen, yours is pretty bad. You got a lot of crap in yours. I have hard water here in Iowa, but I don't have a bunch of ammonia and chlorine and chloramine and crap in it. So you can keep that. I can fix hard water really easy, or I can just use it to my advantage. Rift cichlids were super popular in the Midwest for a while because you can get it just out of tap water. So it's roaring ready to go. So take advantage of what you've got. A lot of people are like, well, I want to keep this, but my water is completely opposite. Well, if you're not willing to go the extra step to make your water, more ideal for that specific fish, then play the hand you're dealt. And there's a lot of super cool saltwater fish. There's a lot of super cool hard water fish. Find something that you like, and it'll work out. With someone with cap that I define as borderline brackish. That sounds miserable. No thanks. Where the heck are you in Iowa? I'm in Sioux City. I'm over by Matt. I know there's a handful of Iowa folks. Kelly used to be one of us, and then she decided that Indiana was cooler, which if Indiana has less winds today, then I'm all about it because I am sick of the wind. We've been getting blown away for the past couple days. And I've had enough. I've had it up here. No more. Sick of the wind. But this is an Iowa winter. So Iowa winter, usually November, December into January, is just cold as crap and windy. And then late January, February, March, we usually get some snow. So it's dry and it's windy right now. I usually get copper. I have notifications for my phone for the treatment. Really? Zen, you're not even from here. You can't do that. You've been hanging out with Matt too much. You can't do that. No, that's not allowed. You're not even local. Cut that crap out. I should. Is bad. 80% RO, 20% tap to get a TDS of 150. That's pretty rough. My water here is hard. I don't know, tap right now is about 450. Hoosier, Des Moines. Bring a spared duckweed and dump it in Matt's outdoor ponds. Even as cold and windy as it is here right now, I am convinced that it would survive Matt's ponds. No problem. Matt's getting jiggy with it over here. We can throw it down. What's up, Matt? How you doing, man? One of these days, you know, I let him home for a while. If it wasn't so damn cold, I drove over to Matt's house, would hang out, and we could. Is it collaborating if you're still just neighbors? But Matt did say he wanted help in his fish room, so maybe if it involved the right number of beer and food, then I would consider it. Yeah, no thanks, Sarah. Sneak in his basement and dump it all in his indoor pond. Doesn't he have? He's got stuff in his indoor. What? I feel like Matt has things in his indoor pond that would eat it. Maybe not. Path salts. What the heck are y'all talking smack about me? I wake up and find you. I wasn't talking smack about you, Matt. Zen Ginger typed hashtag Mike sucks because she thinks she's cool like the rest of us, but she's not because she lives in Houston. Enjoy Texas. And just for that, I hope you get an ice storm. Another one. I hope it's the Ice Apocalypse 2022. I don't want your fish to die. Don't get me wrong. I just want you to have to deal with Ice Apocalypse. Free plants. He can have all that crap. If you want some hair grass, he's more than welcome to it. If he wants some duckweed, more than welcome to it. Acid water. Do it. Make some acid water. Make it happen. Apparently it worked the first time, right? Got a couple spawns. So they didn't eat his MacBook. My laptop. You can probably see the reflection if you look here. You can see my kid decorated it with stickers. My laptop's actually up on top of a 6-foot ladder right now, so that you guys can see into the rainbow tank. Not the super highest quality. Thanks, StreamYard. Appreciate it. But this is a Chilathrina alani wapoga tank. You can see a male harassing females there. And then off to the right is a spawning mop. And you can see that they decided that they just wanted to let their fry live. They used to eat their fry before. No problem anymore. They're letting fry survive. There's probably 40 or 50 Chilathrina alani wapoga fry in there. And they're doing just fine. So we'll go downstairs to that tank a little bit. I didn't know his name. Now I do. May not use it, but I know her name. Why are you Nona if you're Sarah? Good question. Steven, maybe one day I'll drive to Louisiana and sweat my butt off in the disgusting, humid swamp down there and bring you some fish. Oh, I'll ship you some. So I actually got a Pete from my getting fish from a friend video down in Council Bluffs. Want some alani. So I moved. I went through the gigantic headache of tearing my 125 down just so I could move the alani out to a breeding tank. Here's a couple of videos of stuff kind of from Pete's room if you guys are interested. But he's in line for some alani. Oh man, what did I do? That should be it. So that's a video of Pete's room a little bit. So take a look at that. 46 now, not sweating. I will take 46 compared to, let's see what the weather is here right now. Because I promise it sucks more than 46. I would gladly trade you. Okay, sucks. Let's see what we got. It's currently winds out of the northwest, gusting 25 knots, and it is -2 outside. I don't know if I believe that. I don't think it's quite that cold. It says -2. City weather. 28. Oh, so -2 C. Sorry. So I'll gladly trade you. You can have the 30-mile-an-hour winds, and I'll take the 46-degree temps. Chilly and rainy. Fucking smash it with a water change. Get you some acid water. It's cooling down. It's rainy. Feed the crap out of those cories. Hit them with some acid water, and make it happen. Rachel said, wouldn't mind keeping some African fishes from hard water. Tanganyika, shame it is. So I'm not huge on Rift Lakes. I like the riverine fish, and Tanganyika has some super cool fish. I was just talking in the Discord. I don't think you were around when we were having that conversation with Johnny about Lamprichthys tanganicus and Tanganicanus. Sorry. Which, for those of you that aren't familiar, these are Lamprichthys tanganicanus. Pretty cool fish. You don't see them very often in the hobby at all. So Lamprichthys tanganicanus, super cool. Benthachromis tricati or Benthachromis horii. The tricati are kind of the kings. The horii are a little bit smaller, but these are, I don't know. If you ask me, they're super cool fish. They just get big. I've got that 180 in the basement, so I kind of want to put them in. I don't know. That's a super awesome fish. But again, good luck finding tricati for sale or horii, let alone for an affordable price. I don't know if across the pond you guys are able to get them a little cheaper or a little easier, maybe. I'd guess not, but we'll see. 20s and 40s. 40s are definitely welcome right now. Compressiceps. Comps are cool, except the fact that they take like 27 years to grow out to a spawnable size. Just love a story I read my kids called Strega Nona. Told Madonna that Strega means witch. All right. Sketty Nona is witch Nona now. Awesome. Never heard that story. I'll have to look it up and maybe read it to my kids. Daffodils, Lamprologus pulchers, a dainty and pretty. Their species on it. You can keep Neo Lamprologus. I'm sorry. I'm thinking different fish. Pulcher. I think you could keep them just fine with like some cyprinids or not cyprinids, sorry, some cyprochromis or some paracyprochromis. I think they'd be okay. I'm not super up on them though, but I think they'd be fine. It is a gorgeous fish. They are beautiful. So that's Benthachromis tricati. The horii get a little bit bigger, and I don't know, it's about impossible to find a lot of these guys for sale, which sucks, but they do get quite large. It's beautiful, beautiful fish. Excellent colors. I'm a fan. I'd love to have some someday, but I'd also, since we're talking about Tanganyika, I do want some of the, I think these guys are cool. So it's a gold feather fin. Most of the feather fins tends to be a little more along the blue or black or silver side. So this is a gold feather fin, Ophthalmotilapia nisuta. There's also oops, these are super cool. So I would only put one feather fin in a tank at a time, but check out these guys. How freaking cool are these? So these are the furcifer feather fins, Cyatropharynx furcifer Ruzuba collection. But that is, obviously the male looks super cool. The females for most feather fin type fish, like the Ophthalmotilapia or the Cyatropharynx, are generally just kind of a dull gray color, which stinks. But it is what it is. There is actually a group dedicated to Tanganyikans. I know, shocking. that some of those guys have some super awesome fish. Let's see. So these are, oops, I gotta stop this. Boom, sorry. We'll fix it. Hold on. Hold on. So these are some Aquarium. Somebody posted on Facebook. Super, super cool. Leupi are quite sweet. They are. So those are, if I'm not mistaken, those are the orange ones, right? That's what I thought. Yep. So yeah, Leupi are the orange ones. Let's see. Who are these guys? So that's obviously a male and then a female. Again, these are the Hori, and this is the Cape Kabogo collection point. So if you're not familiar with collection points, a lot of the times, even similar species of fish collected from different places will show different phenotypic characteristics. Even though genetically the same, they show different color variation. So largely you'll see this in a lot of your African cichlids, higher-end African cichlids, and then your killifish, they'll have a collection point attached to the end of them. So pay attention to that collection point. Some collection points are more valuable or more sought after than others. So you may see a fish like, why is this frontosa so much more expensive than this other one? Well, it might be tagged with a specific collection point. And there's some people that strive to keep a collection point true and only breed it and reproduce with it, that specific collection point. So if you start muddying things up, and it's not necessarily a hybrid because you mix collection points, but it does lose its value and you're muddying up those bloodlines. So do your best to keep those isolated for a while. I'm thinking of the fairy cichlids, maybe. I think you're thinking of the fairy. So the fairy cichlid is Neolamprologus brachardi. And Prologus, which are super easy to keep. I've kept brachardi myself. Fun little fish, easy to keep, easy to spawn. These are they're often called the fairy cichlid. Neolamprologus brachardi. They come in an albino form. So yeah, neat little fish, super easy to find. Tropheus, there's some cool colored morse to Tropheus. I'm not big into Tropheus myself, but there's some neat ones out there, but I'm not huge on trophes. The purple trophes, was it Tropheus? Lavender. It's like the purple rainbows, purple Lafubu trophes. Purple and Lafubu is the collection point. It's like, I don't know, these guys are kind of cool. You don't see, purple's not a color that we often see in freshwater fish. So Zenginger asked, if you breed two of the same fish with different collection points, do you just list it as nothing, or is there a name for hybridization of collection points? So basically, the safest way to do that would be to advertise it as an obvious cross between two collection points. But otherwise, if you can't verify the collection point lineage of a fish, then just drop the collection point entirely. So that would be what I would do. Obviously, if you knew that it was a cross between collection point A and collection point B, you could label it as a hybrid between those two. Some people, I mean, chances are it's still a super cool fish. It just doesn't have those pure bloodlines, and some of the characteristics might be mixed up, so it doesn't breed true. So not technically a hybrid, It is the same species often, just from different locales. So the phenotype won't breed true, if that makes sense. So, there you go. I'm going to defer to Rachel because obviously, hence the name freshwater ichthyology. She knows way more about this than I do. So she'll get down into the weeds with it. It's something that I understand, but I'm not up to date on. It's not something that I study regularly like she does. So definitely refer to freshwater ichthyology on any of your actual classification questions. And you will see over time, we've actually, and you see this a lot in killifish, they'll use DNA testing to separate species as opposed to just collection points or whatever. So use DNA testing, and that's the only true way to differentiate species. And the more testing we do, the more species we come up with. So many fish that were for a while classified as the same thing or variations of the same thing are actually being proven to be completely different. No subspecies in ichthyology. Boom, diggity. Da 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 da. So that's a good conversation to have. It's one that a lot of people I don't think about. That's not good or bad. It's definitely something to consider, especially if you're going to breed fish and then resell fish or try to distribute fish. Even if you're not selling them, if you're distributing them, it's important for people to know the exact background of that fish. And we were actually, I was having a small discussion with Kelly and Johnny earlier, and their question came up about we'll say pureness of a specific rainbow that was posted, and it was just somebody brought into question whether it was that truly that rainbow or if it was a hybrid that got crossed. And rainbows can be tough. I mean, all fish can be tough to positively identify, but rainbows can be particularly tough because they have so much, and I'll use Kelly's term, phenotypic plasticity, where they can change their color traits, and you see a little bit of variation in body type. And even those engingers here, we won't do any rainbow body shaming because I'm gonna suck for rainbows. I'm not gonna talk bad about them. Mandy might, but then the other 15 of us that are here won't necessarily club her to death, but she'll feel shame. Crossing various localities is as scientifically useful as hybridizing to conservation or even studying species itself. I'd agree with that. So it's definitely, is it a good thing big picture wise? Yes. You just do lose like some of the purity of the strain, and that is a lot of the value to some of the purist type people. And I mean, I understand it, but as far as from a scientific point of view, crossing them can often yield interesting results and helps you study things a little bit. Go downstairs. Wander down. We'll check on 125 quick. Run downstairs and make sure I don't have a gigantic mess going because I'm transferring from the next, which I do. Splashing water sounds are always super cool. Problem solved there, though. That's an easy fix. So we'll step into the fish room down here in the basement, which I've been working on trying to clean up a little bit. And as you can see here, most of them look like road pizza they got run over and put back in the. Oh man, that's it. I might end up kicking Mandy out of the stream after all. She's going to be coming in here talking bad about rainbows. You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. Not in all things fish stream. We love our rainbows here, despite their body shape or lack of body shape, because some of them just have boring shapes, to be honest. Matt likes road pizza. Like road pizza, I can come up with other names for things. The Upogas are pretty, and these I don't know, the light's been on this tank for quite some time. Let's see, we might be able to pick out in the video. If you guys aren't familiar, this is a male here. This is the dominant male in the tank here. So subdominant male, and then obviously you can see these guys are females. They think they're getting food. Woo! Fish are dumb. They'll follow you around, up, down, up. Beautiful fish. A lot of fun, a lot of personality. I have the Rhinocentris ornatus Tiwak Creek upstairs for 125 now. Beautiful fish, super cool. Definitely something that I'm glad I keep. But these Tiwa are these Chalathrian alani. Other than have a little more size on them, they are more active. So then you can see up here, I'll keep these guys out of the way. There's a bunch of fry in here, anywhere from, you know, there are fry in here that are a couple days old, and there are fry in here that are probably 3 months old. You can kind of see some of the big ones in there. And these guys get a mix of prepared food, like in this multi-worm plate. They get baby brine shrimp, they get vinegar eels, and then in order to feed the freshly hatched rainbows in there, I feed some golden pearls from kensfish.com. If you're not familiar with golden pearls, they come in a variety of sizes. They're an excellent food, if you ask me. But it looks like dust. I know people like feed these. These are I prefer the 5 to 50. Once you go over 50, you might as well be feeding like maybe your brine shrimp or other foods anyway. But it's super light. It suspends in the water column a little bit. There's actually a little bit of air in it, so it helps suspend it. And it just, for the most part, it'll float on the surface, and that just stays in the feeding zone for quite some time. See if it creates a layer on top, and the adults are chasing after it. So I'm not sponsored by Ken's Fish. I don't work at Ken's Fish. I've just used Ken's Fish for a long time. I really enjoy their foods. They're extremely affordable. It's a great option as far as if you're feeding a lot of fish. I'm not saying they're the best foods on the market, but I feed such a variety that I'm not worried about feeding like one best food, right? So they offer a variety of flakes, pellets, sticks, wafers. Here's one of their, obviously these don't go in this tank. It's Ken's Premium. These are veggie wafers. They have spirulina wafers. All sorts of options. Great foods though. If you're feeding a lot of tanks, I think it's a great option. So these are sinking growth pellets. So this is going to be a little bit higher protein content, a little higher fat content, a little more size on your fish. These are some pellets. Let's see, we usually feed rainbows pellets, but as you can see, they enjoy it. They're going to chow down. So the little guys are going to chow on those golden pearls. Put some of these sinking pellets in here for the big adults. Studies morphology. Yeah, so I think you got it figured out. Nona missed what I said about body shape. No, we were talking about body shape and rainbows because Zen likes to talk crap about the body shape of different rainbows. So we like to talk crap back to her. She's just not a fan. So she's not a fan of the more traditional Melanitania body shape, which can be a little bit more deeper bodied and have kind of a pointy head. These are Chalathrian alani, the Wapoga collection. So they have more of the slender body. They don't get the hump on the back. They don't look quite so, say, beaky, I guess. They kind of have like a triangle-shaped face. But let's see, looks like they might still be. Just keep letting them chow. So some of my favorite fish in the fish room, I've kept them for a while. I've bred a large number of them. They're super easy to breed, as you can see. I just have them set up in a 40 breeder right now. With a couple sponge filters and a mop on one side. They'll spawn in the mop, and they've shown me that they are willing to let the fry hatch out on their own. So initially, when I started trying to breed these, I was pulling eggs, and pulling eggs can be a little bit of a headache. I'm not gonna lie. And I was getting decent success rates, and then I messed with some of the methods for a while. Oops, sorry. And then I just started leaving them alone, and I've had really good luck just leaving them alone now. So I'm not looking to raise hundreds of them, but like I said, there's probably 50 in that tank, and they're doing just fine. So we're just going to let them cook for a while and see what happens. Mouse head goldfish. Yeah, fortunately, even for somebody that likes to body shame, like Zen Ginger, there is a rainbow fish for everybody. Even if they're not true rainbows like the pseudomugils, they still kind of fall in the similar classification, right? So, no problem explaining. Like I said, if you want to get into kind of morphology and classification a little bit, freshwater ichthyology would be the person to talk to, probably. She's extremely knowledgeable about it. I trust her word more than I trust my own sometimes, at least on that topic. So she knows what's up. Very good at what she does. These guys. I'm going to show you that bag of wafers earlier. Just feeding bristlenoses right now. So bristlenoses get cucumber regularly, zucchini, and then I use canned wafers. So they're cheap. They're, fairly decent nutrition. I'm not going to go spend $25 for a quarter of a pound for some wafers for Pocosmus, especially when I feed, a lot of live or fresh foods anyway. Just doesn't make sense. There's some people out there that spend crazy money on food. One of the reasons that I feed a lot of live foods is to reduce the budget, reduce what I'm spending on fish anyway. Fish food anyway, because it's easy to spend a lot of money on fish food. And I'm not saying that the expensive brands aren't worth it. I'm not saying that they're not good foods, but I just personally don't see a reason to spend some of the crazy amounts on food that you can. So there's awesome foods out there like Dr. Basilier's, but somebody like myself, I breed a lot of guppies and endlers, but I'm not feeding Dr. Basilier's because it is a little spendy. For those of you that do think that it's worth it, good on you. Not judging you. I'm just saying I personally don't spend that kind of money on them. Those are the Alani Wapoga up there. This is, I think, right below it. This is bristlenose Pocosmus. I've got a variety of shapes and colors in there. There we go. Skedionona, that's a lot of it, right? So there's fish that I'm like are super cool, but I personally have no interest in raising them myself. So if you're one of the people that's into that specific fish, good on you. That's why there's so many different fish out there. There's so many different ways to keep fish. You know, if we all kept the same fish, it'd be awfully boring, right? So. You can see in the back of this tank. So this tank this is a Hamburg Matten filter. It has two basically jet lift tubes, and then sand in the back, a bunch of caves, some random wood, and then catap leaves, Indian almond leaves, whatever you want to call them. I pretty much drop one of these in all my tanks. People Boy said I don't see that much benefit in the expensive foods. My fish do great on aquariums. Exactly. I think I feed a variety of foods, and I think a variety of food is more important than feeding one high quality food. And I seriously, you guys know this, I stress feeding live or fresh type foods a lot. So there's definitely a benefit to it. Is it a little bit more work? Sure. But you're getting a better nutritional value out of that. And plus, food cultures generally are very cheap to run, if not free. Steven said, Ken's Fish food for the win. That's right. I love Ken's Fish. I love their food. Your Fish stuff has some excellent food too. It's going to run you a little bit more. I actually just ordered some more prepared food from Ken's Fish. I just saw that he now has, or I think he's had it for a while. I just haven't bought food in so long. I mean, all the stuff comes sealed, and you can keep it for. I bet some of the food I have in here that I still feed is probably 3-4 years old. It's still good. But he has some more of like the bug type flakes. So he's got some flakes for. He has soldier fly flakes now, and like I said, maybe he had those before. I don't know, but I thought that was pretty cool. So I ordered some of those. He has a cricket and grasshopper flake. So I ordered some of that to try. Looks like Matt's got some baby bristlenoses. Well, he didn't specify bristlenoses. What kind of plecos are they, Matt? What you got there? Zen Ginger is on the YouTube celebrity train. So, with the exception of the Repashy, because Repashy's been around for a long time, it's been popular amongst breeders for quite some time. The rest of that is basically like the YouTube celebrity train of fish foods. So Extreme Nano, Northfin, Bug Bites. Those are all like made popular by YouTube people. I don't know. They're okay foods. I think they're overpriced. I'll tell you that much. I think they're extremely overpriced. Oh, now wants to see the baby bristlenoses. So, and I'm not judging you for your food choice. This camera's terrible. I don't know if it's going to pick up that little guy. But that is a calico right there. This standard brown. Look over here, there's a brown and an albino. Sorry to ruin your life, Matt. I didn't mean it. Actually, there's a little guy right there. Oops. Ruined Matt's day by covering up the baby Plecostomus. Freshwater Repashy is the ingredients. So I love Repashy. Let me know, Matt. I'll grow some of these out and you can have a few. So I like Repashy. It is a little bit more expensive, but you get some pretty good results. I use a variety of Repashy foods. So I have the Rapashi shrimp souffle. I have some Rapashi spawn and grow. And then I have some of the Rapashi Community Plus. I know the bottom scratcher is popular with a lot of Lacosmus breeders. I just don't happen to have that one right now. Rapashi lasts quite some time though, so it seems expensive, but it makes a lot of food. It's pretty high quality stuff. So definitely recommend Rapashi for sure. Rapashi is good, and I'm not saying the others are bad. I'm just saying they were made popular by YouTube people. That's it. They're still fine foods. The bug bites are, I mean, if you want to feed, you know, fairly natural or realistic foods, something like bug bites that actually has some of the actual insects that our critters eat in it is not a bad idea. I think the North Fin and Extreme is a lot of YouTube hype though, particularly for that price. That's my 2 cents. Bite me if you don't like it. I don't care. Geek boy. That'll happen sometimes. Yeah, it sucks. And the more you spend on Pico, the less you see it. The more they poop. That is damn right. I've been blabbing for a while though. And I think it's time for a beverage. Let's see what's on the menu today. I do live in Iowa, so Busch Light's always on the menu. But let's see what else we got. It is winter time, so let's go with something dark. Today's flavor of choice, for right now at least, like I said, it's winter. We're getting into dark beer season, which means that stouts are an excellent option. So we're going to go with the left-hand mint chocolate milk stout. No, I have not had this one before. Left hand does make some excellent beers. So we're going to see what we think. So, cheers to fish. Definitely delicious. I'm not picking up on a ton of mint, but that's okay. Definitely not most of the time. So bristlenoses noses are cool. And you can make, I don't know, I'd almost venture to say that just based on their prolific spawning behaviors and ease of keeping and ease of selling, bristlenoses will probably make you more money than most of the fancy Plicos, if you're into that. My dogs were barking. Sorry, I'm down in the basement. So I don't know what they were barking at. Maybe the kid came home. Maybe not. We'll get into some selling fish theories here. Mint chocolate beer. Yes, it's delicious. You were hating on my coffee beer the other night, and then you said you wanted to try it. So I might have another mint chocolate beer just to spite you. Oh, look, Matt's doing his charity work, offering to take those pesky Plecos off Geek Boy's hands. He bakes me stout cake. Ooh, I might have to look into that. Stout cake. Skinny Nona, I don't know if you're in the Discord or not, but if you are, you should most definitely send me the recipe for that because I'd be interested. My wife's not super into dark beers, so she leaves my dark beers alone. But stout cake, I bet, is something that I could talk her into. Oh. Oh my gosh, you guys, I've got so much crap in the fish room right now. I literally have a stack of 8 2.5 gallon tanks just sitting here taking up space. Woo! Now I'm hungry. That sounds delicious. There's a lot of things, Zen, that I thought were blasphemy with regards to beer. But surprisingly, some of them are actually really, really delicious. I'm gonna rotate you guys over here. We stared at that tank for a little while. Oh, this tank is messy. These tanks are a disaster over here. But these are Cryptoheros nanoluteus. Females coming out to say hi. Males in the back. There's a few fry in there. But we need to move, eventually, we need to move fry. So this is one pair of Cryptoheros nanoluteus. This is another pair over there. That tank's also a disaster. That's why we're down here. But there are fry in here. We need to move the fry from here over to here to grow out tank. So this is 50-gallon light sand bottom. Let the algae grow on the sides, don't care. So these Cryptoheros nanoluteus are care species. You can see the female has the black spot on the dorsal fin and is much smaller. This is the male. And shockingly, they are hungry. So let's see what we can find for them. We don't want hungry fish, right? Ain't nobody want hungry fish. Let's dig up something good. What's this? I don't even know what this is. Ah, fish food, I don't even know what it is. I mean, I'm sure it's decent. One of the problems when you buy entire fish rooms from people is that you don't necessarily know what you're getting. Sometimes they just have bags of food. Hating on coffee beer. I like coffee beer. Belgian cherry beer, not bad. These, I don't know if you can see it. Video quality right now is kind of crap. But these has, again, the Cryptoheros nanoluteus. Beautiful blue eyes. Beautiful fish. Now this fish in the tank next to him, tank's a little bit more of a mess. The fish in the tank next to him, it's a bigger pair, actually. So this was the original pair. Well, I originally started with 6 from Tristan over at Tristan's Tropical Fish, which if you haven't checked out Tristan, go check him out. He's located in Wisconsin. He's basically, you know, he learned from Ted Judy. He grew up under Ted Judy. He's kind of Ted Judy's understudy, I guess, if you will. And now he runs his own deal. So I think Ted Judy is largely out of fish, unfortunately. But Tristan is kind of maybe picked up where he left off, and Tristan's doing great things. So, but these Cryptoheros nanoluteus came from Tristan at Tristan's Tropical Fish. I did do a video on that. Zan, if you're bored, I did an unboxing and share that video. But they are super awesome. That'd be awesome, Noah. I appreciate it. Ian! What is up, Ian? How you doing, bud? Thanks for stopping by. So for those of you that are already salty, those of you that want to be salty, and those of you that think saltwater aquariums are scary nonsense, you should stop by tonight. Ian, what time's your stream tonight? So Ian over at Atkins Nature Aquariums is running a stream tonight. I believe this is episode number 2 or 3. Can't remember for sure. But it is called the Salt Shaker. So stop and check that out because it should be awesome. Ian is over the past 2 years gone from setting up his first saltwater aquarium to being quite successful with his reef, and it's doing great. So I would definitely recommend you check that out. Over at Atkins Nature Aquariums. Again, it's called the Salt Shaker. Super cool stuff. Ian's doing great things. Much appreciated. Super knowledgeable. I'll be there, 8:30 p.m. Pacific. I don't know what time that is in Central Standard Time, but I'll show up whenever you start again. Freshwater ichthyology, I think you're talking about the Nanoluteus. They are super awesome. Very, very easy to keep. Definitely underrated. And I would highly recommend them. Easy to spawn. I'm gonna move this back a little bit. Like I said, definitely recommend them to anybody. So if you're looking for a fish that you want to spawn, a care species is a great option because it's a fish that we care about continuing to keep around because they're threatened or endangered based on what classification system you're looking at, I guess. They're beautiful. They have nice little personalities. They're peaceful. You can spawn these in a community tank, keep their fry. Their fry grow out in the tank just fine. Obviously, you know, these tanks are bad examples. They're dirty. The water itself is clean. There's just a lot of debris running around. So, sprinkle some salt into our freshwater lines. That's right. Dave. Who's Dave, Matt? If you told me a name, I'd probably recognize it. But off the top of my head, I'm not sure who you're referring to. I know a couple Daves, but Ian, what are you talking? I saw your stream. I didn't necessarily see what the topic was. Excuse me. What are you talking about in your stream tonight, Ian? Other than salty stuff. Geek boy, get out of here with that nonsense. Yeah, Austin's down in the Council Bluffs area. Yellowstone, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. Dave from Iowa. All right, smart ass. Get your mouth out of here. I didn't know there was a Dave from Iowa. I don't come around the streams as much as I used to, or as much as I want to. Anyway, about these Cryptocheirus Nanoluteus, you can see male and female sponge filter in the tank. Lightly sanded bottom. Again, male is the larger one, female is the smaller one with the black spot on the dorsal, with a prominent black spot. You can see these cichlid caves in here, or little pots for them to spawn in. So they look a little something like this. Hold on, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. So this is what I use to spawn these guys. So this is what's in there. Just a terracotta cave with a hole in it. Again, I've done this with flower pots too, little terracotta flower pots. They'll spawn in those just fine too. You flip it up over, sit down, or put them on their side even. But the female will go inside the cave. She'll lay her eggs in there, and she'll guard them in there as they hatch out. Once they hatch out, they'll start to cruise around. You can't quite see it, I don't think, but there are some fry. There's a thin layer of algae on the outside of this pot, and there's some fry hanging around on the outside of it. So, just little guys. The ones in this tank over here are a little bit bigger. And then I've got some juveniles in this tank right here that are even bigger yet. They're about 1.5 inches. Sexable, so I'll probably start moving those to somebody else's home soon. And then I think you guys saw this tank last week, the last time I streamed. Got some scramps. Everybody loves them, some scramps. So these are bolts. So this is, well, it's a blue bolt tank. That's a cull that needs to disappear. Get an awful, awful reflection. See if I can make this a little bit better. Sorry. Maybe kind of see them there. Stay out of the basement. So these are, it's a colony of blue bolts, and as you can see, a couple red ones that don't quite belong. That's okay. Anyway, we'll probably stream for another 15 minutes, and in 15 minutes, there's somebody streaming, calling the Saturday, the weekend water change, I think is the thing. Beck's Fishroom. So if you're not familiar with Bex, she is a award-winning artist, self-proclaimed. Just kidding. No. She took a bunch of arts to the Keystone Clash. Do fishception here. Woo! No, she went to the Keystone Clash, took a bunch of artwork there, and her and Sam shot the show. So obviously Sam Scales is a well-known artist that everybody recognizes, and Bex is right up there with him. They crushed it. So she is streaming in about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna ramble for about 10, and then give everybody time to head over there, and we'll raid Bex's stream and show her some love. She's got some good things going on. She may be a little partial to Chihiro's lights, which are not bad, but she could probably be a paid representative spokesperson. Oh, come on. We don't have, Jenna, correction. We don't have summer weather and winter weather. We have 2 seasons. We have summer, which is construction season, and winter, which is snow season. As you can guess, whenever it's not snowing, then it's construction season. If there's no construction, it's probably snowing. The wind is awful. I was actually up in Sketty. I was up in Sioux Falls yesterday flying for work. And believe it or not, the wind is worse in Sioux Falls than it was in Sioux City, which is saying something because Sioux City, it's awful, awful winds. Make a little brine shrimp action going on. Some people have fancy blenders. I have 2-liter bottles. So we're going to use a couple liters, roughly, of some fancy RODI water. And we use 2 tablespoons of salt. Turn our air on. And then I'll go get my can of brine shrimp eggs from the freezer upstairs. We'll make a batch of shrimp for tomorrow. Oh. If you don't feed brine shrimp, you should feed brine shrimp. One. Australia light. Everything in Texas tries to kill you. Yeah, freaking tarantula migration season down there. Got freaking venomous snakes, big old spiders. Oops. I mean, I lived in Arizona too. Arizona's about the same. Everything tries to kill you. Summer and February. Yeah, I was not exactly known for having 4 seasons despite being in a temperate climate. Florida's not bad if you don't mind rain and hurricanes, because there's a couple guarantees in Florida, and chances are it's probably gonna rain about every afternoon around 4:30. Disappear for a second. Head upstairs. Make sure the 125 is not spilling all over the floor, which it's close. We got about another 6 to 9 gallons to go in there. I'm gonna grab my brine shrimp eggs out of the freezer, and we'll start hatching some scrimps. Sort of. The brine shrimp. So you guys saw my little hatchery. I'm cheap, so I gotta cut off 2-liter bottle of soda. I added 2 tablespoons of some old Instant Ocean salt and some old Brine Shrimp Direct brine shrimp eggs. Now, I don't know how old these eggs are, but they've been frozen, so they keep just fine. We'll use about a teaspoon. So 2 tablespoons of salt, teaspoon of eggs, some water, some air, and they're on their way. Now, approximately 24 hours later, they should be ready to feed, or less. If you want to feed them earlier than that, head right at it. Chances are you hatched out what you can hatch out anyway. I know some people say, oh, you need to feed them within a certain amount of time. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Good day, Mark. Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you're here. Our Aussie friends are checking in. Yeah, all kinds of folks here. We have people across multiple oceans, all over the world, worldwide. 15 people watching. We're hitting it big. All Things Fish is making news. We're making waves. Got people from several different continents checking in. When I look at my statistics, I always see there's like a few views from India. Like, I don't know who from India is watching my stuff on YouTube, but I appreciate you. So if you're catching the replay, or if you're lurking, thank you very much. Glad you're here. Zen, if you want to talk about where to get brine shrimp eggs, we can talk about it. I'm not dogging on anybody, but a lot of people use brine shrimp direct, and that's for a good reason. Not that co-op eggs are bad, but you probably get a little more for your money shopping from brine shrimp direct. Oh boy. 4 more minutes. We'll blabber for 4 more minutes, and then we're going to go say hi to Bex. Beaches were painful. American beaches are a little bit different than foreign beaches. So I've been looking at different hatcheries. So I mean, I have no problem with the 2-liter bottles. I just run a few of them, and I've been looking at some other options because I like to feed in the morning and at night. So I run 2 hatcheries, and the bottles aren't bad. But I know there's better options out there, and I don't want to spend the money on a $50 brine shrimp hatchery. I mean, I'm sure it's nice, but it's $50 though. Is it $50 nice? I don't know. I mean, I've got a $10 setup now, and it does the thing, I guess. So, BRS. Does BRS sell brine? I'll have to look. Brine shrimp. They do. Oops. We got a hatchery like that flat one. They do sell brine shrimp eggs. I don't know. I'm partial to to brine shrimp direct. At the end of the day, it probably doesn't matter where they come from. Just buy whatever's cheapest. Just like I think Johnny and Dan say that on over at Dan's Fish. Buy whatever's cheapest. It's like you're not going to notice in a gazillion eggs that you throw into your hatchery, you're not going to notice a hatch rate of 92% versus 95%. It's an eyesore, but it stays in the fish room, so it is what it is. I'd like to think I'm not a cult member of anything. I'm not saying that I'm for sure not, but a 1 pound can of brine shrimp direct eggs. I'm curious. I'm just going to run some math here. So like I said, you most likely won't see a difference. 100 grams versus so you can get a 1 pound can of brine shrimp eggs from BSD for $3.12 an ounce, 100 grams. So 100 grams of brine shrimp eggs is about 3.5 ounces for almost 25 bucks. For 50 bucks, you can get 16 ounces. So twice the money, and you're getting 3 times, almost 4 times the eggs. So I don't know. If you don't use, do most people use a pound can of eggs in a year? No. But the can that I have has lasted me several years. I just keep it in the freezer, and it's just fine. All right, I'm convinced. You said it, so I'm convinced, Matt. So it's that easy. That's all you had to say, right there. 20 bucks, that's not bad. God. See, I don't know. Here I am talking on YouTube about stuff, and this is one of the problems I have with YouTube, is that there's, and I'm not saying that certain people are good or bad. I'm saying there's celebrities, and people flock to them and just follow them blindly. That's not it. That's not how that works. nice try, Matt. Uh-oh. Bulk reef supply deals are out already. Gosh, I need some rock. Ian, have you seen a good deal on rock yet? I need some dry rock, just enough for the biocube. 30% off. Well, 30% off bulk reef supply items. Oh, I need some new filters for my RO setup. So guess what? We're probably going to go buy some RO filters. Do. Thanks for stopping by, Nona. We appreciate it. Rock is on sale. Oh. Well, there goes the fish tank that I overflowed. You guys distracted me. Now the 125 is overflowing. Whoops. Do this. Do this. Do this. I'll overflow the 125 very often. But Ian got me started talking about sales at Bulk Reef Supply, and here I am, overfilling shit. Oh. 14th and Pierce. That was different rock, Matt. Different rock. Well, my wife's not going to be super happy about that one. But we'll make it. What do they make towels for? Whew. All right, that's a lot of water. That's kind of a lot. Oh, man. On that note, I've got to go clean up water. Let's go head over to Bex's stream. This is going to take me a minute. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I do appreciate it. I only have a few gallons of water on the floor. It's been fun. Zen dropped Bex's stream. Let's go. Say hi. Ouch. Oops. It happens. Make sure you sign up for the preferred reefer. Yep. Already there. Doggo's here. I like free shit. Let's go talk to Bex. What was a dinosaur? Which one? Pele. Come here. Pele. Which one are you talking about? One's a poodle. One's a greyhound. The camera sucks. There's a greyhound. Pele. There's a greyhound. The black one's a poodle. And then sheepdog's overlaying our kennel right now. But it's 4 o'clock. Let's get out of here. I gotta clean up water. You guys gotta go say hi to Bex. Let's go jump in her stream and harass her for a while. Once again, thanks everybody. I'll see you over in Bex stream. Have a good day. Catch you later.